Okay, let's talk housing. Some new numbers out from RE/MAX Canada find that a majority of Canadians are feeling good about dipping into the housing market for the fall. But there's an asterisk for here in the GTHA.
So joining us live this morning is Don Kottick, president of RE/MAX Canada, to get into these numbers. Don, good to see you this morning.
Good to see you both.
It's interesting, after kind of a topsy-turvy time, pandemic and coming out of it, and interest rates up and down, it sounds like there's some optimism and almost confidence from buyers. Is that fair to say from your new numbers?
Yeah, we did a survey recently, and we found that 54% of buyers were actually optimistic about the fall market, going into the fall market. And probably for the first time in a long time, we're seeing affordability is actually attainable for a number of people. That affordability has been a big issue that has been the forefront. So, we're seeing that the inventories have grown, like inventories are up 16.7%. Sales are off 11.7%. So we're seeing that as kind of setting the table for a buyer's market going into the fall. So there is a lot of optimism. Obviously with the caveat being that there's still a lot of uncertainty out there.
Yeah, there certainly is with these U.S. tariffs and, the economic trade war we're up against with the U.S. So does that kind of match up, this survey, what the buyers are feeling with what you're seeing in the housing market today? I know we pointed out that for the GTHA, hey, that's still a very expensive place to live.
For sure. But I think what's happened is, we got off the year to a really good start. There's a lot of optimism. Then February hit. We had all the sanctions and all the talk of the sanctions, and then there was this pullback. And I think we've been living with this uncertainty of the tariffs for quite some time. And it's similar to when there's a rate increase. When there's a rate increase, people kind of pause, they take a step back. What's happened here is people have been living with the uncertainty of the tariffs. And I think they're at a point now where, they're just going to accept that we live in an uncertain time. And, their opportunity, to jump back into the market appears to be in the fall, according to our survey results.
It's interesting, isn't it? Because, we speak to a lot of real estate experts on this program, and, the refrain is you can't time the market, right?
For sure.
But this seems to be the planets are aligning, the stars are kind of aligning, the way everything's going seems to be aligning for this fall market, doesn't it?
It really does. I mean, rates are still low, so money is still, probably it may come down. I think if the rates come down any more, our survey said that more people will jump into the market, which could create, prices to go up. So you're right. There's no perfect time to jump into the market. We have that uncertainty. It would be nice if we could resolve our trade issues and things would take off. But once again, you can't time the bottom, and so I think a lot of buyers are just viewing this as an opportunity to come back into the market.
Yeah, your survey points out that almost 65% of housing markets experience price declines, and you also pointed out a kind of increase in inventory. What specific type of inventory are we talking about in terms of, is it condos, single-family homes?
Well, this is right across the board. Usually, we've always had a shortage of detached, but right now we're seeing inventory in all product types, which is also creating the opportunity as well too.
What in terms of the market used to be, if you saw a house go up for sale, it'd be sold by the afternoon. I've noticed this. I live in Burlington in my neighborhood. I see houses sitting on the market for a little bit longer. Is there an expectation if you put your house up that you shouldn't expect that it's going to be snapped up within a day or two anymore?
Well, I think if you're going to put your house in the market, you have to be realistic in terms of what that price is, and that's obviously why you should make sure you sit with a realtor, understand where your particular property is going to fall, and then you want to do everything you can to maximize that property, whether it's staging, whether it's pricing it properly, or something else you can do to improve the attractiveness of that property. So that's where working with a realtor can really help you.
Yeah, and affordability is always relative, right? So we're talking more affordable now, but what is it compared to, let's say, pre-pandemic levels?
For sure, and I think we were quite a run before the pandemic, and then obviously we went through that stage where there was a lull, and then it picked up again. So right now we're at pretty attractive rates relative to market conditions, and once again it depends on your unique situation, but right now people are seeing that the opportunity is there right now.
Okay, so it could be a buyer's market this fall.
Sounds like it. Don Kottick, appreciate this. Thanks so much. Nice meeting you this morning. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Don. Appreciate it.